Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, then welcome to the channel. Right, this video is all about power, I suppose. I've done videos like this before, but not really. This one is inspired by some of the comments on my last video, so you should go watch that, about power. In that video, I was explaining how we get power in the winter by using our power stations. We've got two power stations. One's All Powers and an EcoFlow Delta 2. And we take them on location, charge them up at EV points and stuff like that, take them to work and charge them up. Then we keep ourselves going through the winter where there's no solar and all that stuff. But I thought this might be helpful for some of you who are thinking of converting a van, thinking of maybe living in a van, and are confused a little bit about the power and how much you need. It does vary. Obviously, everybody's situation is different, right? And it largely depends on what you want to run in your van. So all I can do is show you what we got and point out where I got it wrong. And the reason we got it wrong was because I did lots of research on YouTube and I believed what people were telling me on YouTube. You don't have to believe me, I'm on YouTube, but I'm going to be honest with you with this. It's not going to have lots of facts and figures and ampages and watt hours and stuff. I'm just going to show you what we're running, what we're able to run with what we've got, and maybe that will help you decide what you might need in your van conversion or motorhome upgrade like we did. So as you might know, there's two circuits to consider. One is your 12 volt circuit and one is your 240 volt circuit. Now, if you're buying a motorhome that's already factory done, usually they do have a 240 circuit, but it only works on shore power when you're hooked up at a campsite. For the rest of the time, it's just your 12 volt that'll work. And because of this, they usually have smaller batteries, things like that, because they're designed just to go to a campsite and you plug in, right? But if you're doing what we did and you want to go off-grid and you're going to upgrade your motorhome, then you need to consider your 240. But first, let's talk about the 12 volt. 12 volt in here, which will be the same for a lot of vans, will run certain things, such as your MaxxAir fan, which uses not that much power actually. It doesn't use a lot of power at its lowest setting. You whop it up and it will use more power. Your water pump, whether it's a switch one like mine, or it works off of the pump on its own, it still needs power. That's 12 volt power. Your diesel heater will be taking 12 volt power. Uses a lot of power when you first start them up and a lot of power when you shut them down. In this van we have a water heater runs off of our diesel heater, so we have this little box here which controls a flappy thing and a water pump, so that's using 12 volt power as well. Any USB sockets that you've got in your van, like we have got USBs scattered about, they're on a 12 volt circuit as well. And lights, we have lights all working off of 12 volt power. There's one under there too. Lights everywhere, too many lights. Do we need this many lights? Honestly, do we? Oh, there's one there as well somewhere. There's lights. Oh, lights, look. Lights. It's like a flipping Blackpool illuminations in here, honestly. Lights everywhere. Let's go in here. Lights. Lights. Look at that. It's all them lights. It's very light in here. I made light work of that. Yeah, in our van, even our toilet flush is 12 volt. Mr. Security Camera is 12 volt. Now these lights up here, which are on quite a lot, are not connected to the van. They're battery powered. And under here, I don't know if you can see, there's two battery packs under there, and they take 3 D batteries each, and they work these lights, which give off a nice ambient light, which I like sitting under most of the time. So I'm able to turn off a lot of my lighting anyway, and when we're sitting watching movies or whatever, or just chilling out, we have these on. The batteries last a long time, probably about 3 months before we have to change them, so that's a good way to save power. These ones are USB rechargeable, and they switch on, they can work on a sensor as well, so they can just come on and off when you walk past them, which is really handy at night if I want to get out of bed and go to the toilet. I pass here and this light comes on and I can see where I'm going. USB rechargeable, they last a reasonable amount of time. I also have one in my electric cupboard, so when I open that, that comes on. Usually it's not as packed as this, so you can see everything in the electric cupboard. And back to this thing here, we have an electric bed which works off of this, which comes down. Hello. That works off 12 volt as well. Okay, and that brings us on into the electric cupboard here. What we've got in here at the moment is we've got the All Powers. There's my light, look. My All Powers power station here is running all our 240 at the moment. So the house is actually plugged in. All the sockets in here, sorry, is plugged into this. So all the 240 is running off that at the moment. And under here is a 200 amp hour lithium LiFePO 4 battery under there, which is, that's the house battery. That's running all our 12 volt. And this is running all our 240 volt as it stands. But if I don't have this in here, I can run the 240 and the 12 volt simultaneously off just this battery using an inverter. That's got a 3000 watt inverter there. But when we do that, because this is only, and I say only 200 amp hours, it doesn't last all that long. I can get full charge, I can maybe get 3 days if we're careful out of that. So we do need to upgrade that. I bought that because of what YouTube has told me. That should have been plenty, but it actually isn't. And there is one main reason for that, and I'll explain that in a minute. Now, these power stations have their own inverter in them, so you don't have to run a separate inverter, which is really good. It's massive, this thing, and it's half the capacity of that. But it's been running the van since about 4 o'clock yesterday, and there's still 30% left, and we're on, well, it's about 11 o'clock the next day. So it's lasted quite well, and that's running several things. So 240 wise at the moment, we've got plug sockets, normal 240s plug sockets. I'm charging a phone. This is running my Wi-Fi, so this is always plugged in. I've got my laptop on over here. That's been charging, obviously, plugged in down there. This is plugged in here to a camera outside, one of my security cameras, which is out that side. And under there's another security camera plugged in, which is at that side of the van, so it's running them 24/7. Obviously in the kitchen we have some Christmas lights, which we can put on at the moment, which are 240. Oh, there we go. These things, which are obviously temporary, but you know, we can have them on if we want to. And our biggest drain, the fridge. This is just a domestic fridge, which was very cheap. We didn't have money to get a compressor fridge or a 12 volt fridge. You can get 3-way fridges which run on gas and 12 volt and 240. So this one is just a 240 fridge, which is plugged into either obviously the power station or the inverter, and that is our biggest power drain. But the problem we had, we ran out of money when we did this van, so it was the only option we had, and you're looking at a lot of money for a more efficient version, which would be probably a compressor fridge. When we've been looking at them, you're looking at about £800. That was like £110 or something like that. My opinion, for us, it's probably more cost effective for us to upgrade our power rather than upgrade our fridge. But inevitably, in the long run, I'd like to do both. So other things we run is a projector when we want to watch movies, which goes on our screen here. Obviously that doesn't take that much power. Yeah, a little bit. I think it's a little bit more efficient than a TV actually. And then kitchen wise, we've obviously got an air fryer, and Tracy will sometimes use hair straighteners and hair dryer and stuff like that as well. And a NutriBullet. We have a NutriBullet making smoothies and things, and a toaster as well. So all those normal appliances that you'd have in a house. We also have these lights, boom, which run off 240 as well. Boom. And there's another LED strip which goes outside the van, which is also 240, but they're very, very low power, so not really too concerned about them. We do use them sometimes. And I do have a PlayStation 4 in the van as well, but I don't use it off grid because it is a bit of a big drain at 300 watts running full pelt, so I don't really use that. Maybe if I upgrade the power further, then I could use that. And that's about it really, apart from charging all your normal day-to-day stuff. We have a battery powered Hoover, so we need to charge that battery up, and things like that, phones, laptop, tablets, and all those kind of normal things. When we decided to do van life, this is the thing that me and T-Bone talked about, is like, if we're going to do van life, it has to be like a home. It has to be like our house. And what I mean by that is we have to have all the things that we would have in a house, which is why I designed this van. So we've got a shower. That's another reason we did a motorhome actually, rather than a van, because we've got a toilet, a shower, wardrobes, we've got a kitchen, you know, and all that stuff, sink, running hot water, and electricity, and all that stuff. Because I didn't really understand it, and I understand it more now, obviously, because you learn as you do, don't you? And I listened to too many other YouTubers. I mean, we had an induction hob to begin with as well. That was just crazy. We underpowered the van, if that makes any sense. Now, I know not everybody's going to have the same setup we have. We're quite greedy and quite privileged. We have everything. We use lots of power. But our house battery is too small. We have the power banks as well, which almost doubles the size of the house battery if you take in consideration their power. And we still struggle in the winter months. At the moment, we're struggling. We can get by, but we struggle. Summer, great. We got the solar panel up there, and that's constantly charging up the house battery. Obviously, if you're abroad and you've got sunshine, great, no worries. You can go a smaller battery, I feel, but we do need to upgrade it. We should have gone 400 amp hours minimum, I feel, maybe even bigger than that. For what we need and how we use the van. I hope that helps. I hope it helps what I've just said. Obviously, your van conversion is your van conversion, and you will power what you want to power. But for us, because we wanted to make sure that we could still use everything like we did in a house, more or less, the battery we put in as our house battery is too small. I would say, this is my opinion, I think having the power banks is great. They're great for versatility because you can take them and charge them in different places. Like I said, you can charge them on EV points. I've got video about that. And, you know, I can take them to work and charge them up, or to a relative's house, or whatever, coffee shop. You know, McDonald's sometimes have plug sockets. Timmy's has plug sockets, that kind of thing. So you can grab power out and about, which is really, really good when there's no sun, or even when there is sun, you can just grab power. And you can either use that directly to run your 240, or you can use it to put power into your house battery, which is I sometimes do as well. So power banks are great, but I'd rather just have one rather than carrying two around. I've got a video about the power banks as well, but the All Powers one is big. It's nearly 20 kilos. T-Bone struggles to carry that around. The EcoFlow Delta 2 is, I think it's about 13 kilos. I think, something like that. It's a bit easier to carry. So I'd rather just have one of those and a bigger house battery. I'd love to have a 600 amp hour house battery, but you're talking, and this is what it comes down to as well, about 1,200, 1,300 pounds for a Fogstar. You've got the 460 amp hour one, which is I think about £1,000. But the problem with the 600 amp hour one for me is space. It won't fit in that cupboard. I've measured it, the 460 will. So I think that's what we're going to go for. He says. But we've got to save up £1,000 for it first. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. If anybody's doing a van, designing a van, you can't have enough power. I think that should be the golden rule anyway. You can't have enough power. So go as big as you can, and I mean big on the solar panels as well. Anyway, hope this video was helpful. Do like, comment, subscribe if you like the video, of course. And God bless you. See you in the next one.